All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Selamat siang in Bahasa Indonesia. Distinguished guests, colleagues, and friends, I hope you are not tired of hearing this, but once again, welcome to Bali, Indonesia, one of the most popular island in the country, perhaps even more famous than Indonesia itself. I hope you're enjoying your time here on this beautiful island, a perfect place to have meaningful discussion and new inspiration. And to everyone joining online, a warm welcome to you as well. Thank you for being part of this event wherever you are in the world. My name is Mirza, and it's an honor to serve you as your MC today. And I've been working for several years in the field of forestry, uh, particularly in forest and landscape monitoring, collaborating with governments, NGOs, and local governments to strengthen data-driven forest governance. So this topic advances in near real-time forest monitoring. It's one that is very close to my heart. This side event is organized by the World Resources Institute Indonesia, bringing together experts and practitioners from around the world to explore how near real-time data, or we call it NRT data, and technology can transform the way we monitor and protect forests. Let me briefly walk you through today's agenda. We'll begin with panel 1, featuring 3 distinguished speakers from 3 different institutions who will share case studies on the use of deforestation alert data. This will followed by a Q&A discussion with our audience. Then we'll move on to second panel, which will focus on technological advancement in forest monitoring. We'll hear from 4 expert speakers, followed by reflection from 2 discussants. Finally, we'll conclude with closing remarks, summarizing key takeaways from both panels. Now, to lead us through today's session, it is my pleasure to introduce our moderator, Mbak Hidayah Hamzah, Senior Manager for Forest and Peat Monitoring at WRI Indonesia. She brings extensive experience in forest monitoring forest and peatland monitoring, data-driven governance, and spatial analytics, and will guide us throughout the discussion today. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Mbak Hidayah to begin our first panel. Thank you, and I hope you all enjoy today's discussion. Please, Mbak Hidayah.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the side event of Advances in Near Real-Time Forest Monitoring. So I will be your moderator today. So in the last 2 days in this GFOI event, we have heard from speakers and participants through the presentations, booth outside, and networks during the coffee break and also lunch, showcasing the use of data and satellite imageries for forest monitoring. The near real-time deforestation alerts is also an important part of this technology that provides quick detection of deforestation for policymakers, forest rangers, and forest guardians on the ground. This side event will provide participants with the latest information on near real-time alert data, guidance, and use cases. We will talk through the latest guidance on the production, use, and uptake of alerts, with presenters talking through the process from satellite data to action on the ground, and also in some of the case studies outlined in the guidance. This session, as Mirza mentioned, will be structured in 2 panel discussion. So I will have start the first session, which will focus on use cases of near real-time alert systems, highlighting experience from different countries. The first speaker is my distinguished colleague from WRI Indonesia, Benita Natania. She is the Forest Monitoring Senior Program Lead when she will talk about deforestation alert use cases in Indonesia. Benita, the floor is yours.
Okay, so good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Benita Natania from WRI Indonesia. It is an honor for me to be here and sharing with all of you about the experience of Indonesia in using near real-time deforestation alerts. So in this session, I will highlight how these alerts are being integrated with contextual data to help identify potential illegal logging cases, and how collaborative forest monitoring strengthens law enforcement on the ground. So before I start, let me briefly explain about the GFOI guidance material on deforestation alerts developed by WRI and partners last year. So this document can be accessed through the link shown here. It provides guidance on how deforestation alerts are generated from satellite imagery and how they can be effectively used by policymakers, forest managers, and conservation practitioners to strengthen forest protection and law enforcement efforts. This slide gives a few examples of how deforestation alerts are being used in practice by governments, NGOs, and civil society groups, mainly to support action against illegal deforestation. So some countries, as you can see, build their own systems, while others use existing global or private alerts data. And both approaches can work well. And just a quick note that the material that I'm sharing here is also explained in more detail in the GFOI guidance, which you can check through the link that I mentioned earlier. Now, before I going into the use cases, let me give you a short background on Indonesia's context. So the Follow Net Sink 2030 target aims to reduce deforestation from the land use sector, mainly by reducing deforestation. Among key drivers of deforestation, the illegal logging is included in the top 3 of the driver. And to combat this, Indonesia already has law enforcement instruments that provide a clear framework for handling forest-related crime. And our work builds on this context, exploring how deforestation alerts can be better support enforcement and help identify illegal activities more effectively. The first initiative is that we develop is the Places to Watch Illegal Logging. And this initiative helps identify and highlight priority areas with potential illegal logging cases across Indonesia. And every 3 months, we compile and publish a list of 5 areas on our website. And the process involves several steps, as you can see here. The first, we start with GLAD alerts mosaics for the whole country, Indonesia. And then we filter them based on forest cover and forest area boundaries. So this is the contextual data. And the next, we analyze forest loss to distinguish between legal and illegal cases. Then we do clustering analysis and rank them to identify priority areas to watch. So this slide explains the workflow that we use to assess the legal status of forest loss. And as you can see here, we use GLAD alerts, and then we check whether those alerts overlap with the forest cover. And if the alerts fall outside of forest cover, then we excluded them from the analysis. And for the remaining alerts, we overlay them with the official forest area boundary from the Ministry of Forestry, which classified the land in Indonesia into conservation forest, protected forest, production forest, and non-forest areas. each category has different legal implication. For example, any clearing in conservation or protected forest without a valid permit is categorized as illegal. And for other example, in production forest, only clearing within licensed concessions is considered legal, while anything outside that is illegal. And finally, forest loss in non-forest areas is classified as legal, so we take out or excluded this from our further analysis. After the ranking process, we usually get around 10 to 15 top areas with potential illegal logging cases. And the next step is we conduct desktop verification, which using satellite imagery to remove any false positive and confirm the actual forest loss. Through this step, we narrow the list down to final 5 locations and identify the possible drivers behind the forest loss. We also conduct a desk study, collecting secondary data to better understand the local context and enforcement situations. And the results then published on WRI Indonesia website as a blog post series. The first edition was released in August 2018, and the last one is in March 2022. And after the publication, the next step is to encourage the follow-up actions, ideally leading to law enforcement. And we have tested this approach through a collaboration with a local CSO named JPIK. It's a civil society network with members across almost all provinces in Indonesia. And this partnership focused on investigating illegal logging activities in forest area without permits. As you can see in the examples, in this case, JPIK conducted field investigation in 2 provinces, which is in South Sumatra and also Central Kalimantan, and found several cases of illegal activities such as clearing inside Sabangau National Park, cassava plantation expansion, and sand mining within the forest areas. And these findings help to demonstrate how alert-based monitoring can be followed up through investigation and multi-stakeholder coordination. Now I will move to the second initiative that we developed. It is the landscape monitoring initiative, and we developed this in response to the fragmented efforts we often see among different actors working to reduce deforestation. And through this initiative, we aim to promote a more coordinated approach, and we work at the district level, where local governments have the authority to manage forest and land. And by establishing shared protocols, priorities, and mechanism for collaboration, this approach helps align action among local stakeholders and strengthen collective response to deforestation. So the first component of the landscape monitoring initiative is to improve the forest monitoring itself. So we combine deforestation alerts, such as we often use red alerts derived from the Sentinel-2 satellite, and we combine it with the concern layers. So the concern layers consist of concern area in the specific district. So for example, the protected areas, peatlands, or other high value ecosystem. And by overlaying and combining these data sets, we can identify priority areas where forest loss is more critical and requires immediate follow-up. These priority alerts are then distributed to the relevant stakeholders. The second component focuses on developing the verification protocol. This protocol outlines how priority alerts are validated. The process involves 2 levels of verification. First, the desktop verification using high-resolution satellite imagery, and second, field verification to confirm findings on the ground. So through this process, we also define the roles and responsibilities of each stakeholders in the district. So the validation and reporting process become more systematic and coordinated. And the third component is to develop a response protocol. Essentially, what happens after the alert is verified. This protocol is also developed together with the stakeholders and usually involves a broader group than the verification process. The response protocol outlines different follow-up scenarios depending on land status and ownership. By defining clear procedures and responsibility for each scenario, this component helps ensure that verified deforestation alerts can trigger timely and coordinated actions on the ground. This slide shows an example of what can be achieved through the landscape monitoring initiative. So here, for the example, a priority alert was identified in August 2022. And the local forest management unit, we call here KPH, conducted a field verification and found around 15 hectares of forest encroachment. This is located in Aceh province. And during the visit, the forest management unit team also engaged with the local community to raise awareness about forest protection and prohibition of encroachment. And when the forest management unit team revisited the location in September, as a part of the response protocol exercise, they found that the land clearing has been abandoned. So there is no sign of further expansion or forest loss. And this also highlights another case in Aceh province. So here we detected the priority alerts in April and led to a field verification also by Forest Management Unit in June 2023. And the team found illegal logging activities inside a production forest without clear or valid permits, including they found heavy machinery and stack blocks along the road. So, and despite the warnings they've been giving, and the clearing is continued, and the Forest Management Unit documented the case for potential law enforcement follow-up if the activities persist. So to close, our experience shows that new real-time data become far more powerful when combined with contextual information and implemented through collaborative framework. And by connecting data, local knowledge, and institutional coordination, we can build a more effective and impactful forest monitoring system. One that not only detects deforestation early, but also drives timely and collective action to address it. Thank you.
Thank you, Benita, for talking us through the guidance on deforestation alerts and also how these alerts are used in Indonesia, especially for illegal forest clearing. And the next presenter is Bapak Dedi Sukmara. He is the technical coordinator from Biomass Indonesia. And Pak Dedi will talk about the validation and refinement of deforestation alert data. Pak Dedi, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dedi Pratama. I'm from Awariga Nusantara, part of MAP Biomass Indonesia. And today I will share about how the MAP Biomass, one of the initiative of MAP Biomass Indonesia, we call MAP Biomass Alerta, develop a system to validate and refine the deforestation. In brief, I want to share about the MAP Biomass initiative. It's a global, multi-institutional network composed of university, NGOs, technology developers, and monitor change in land cover and land use across different territory and their impact. So in Indonesia, we start from 2019, led by Auriga Nusantara. We collaborate with several local CSOs in Indonesia. So yeah, we have a kind of three initiative of our product. We call for annual land cover. We call Landy, and as Ani Alinkar mentioned in the first session, we have also annual fire to monitor the burn scar in Indonesia, and we have the Alerta. We start at the beginning, the first 2 years, to build the network, to have some knowledge exchange with Brazilian team, Indonesia Brazilian. We have a lot of training session. We have a lot of capacity building session. And then the first collection we launch in 2021. We start with 11 classes, start from 2000 to 2029, and collection 2 we release in 2023 with accuracy assessment. We collaborate with 10 local university to have the collection 1 of our accuracy assessment. And this year we have collection 4 for land cover and land uses, including 13 classes from 1990 to 2024. And we prepare to have models on annual loss forest or deforestation and annual secondary vegetation or regeneration. And then we have annual fire. We prepare to launch collection 2, add more year annually in the fire monitors. And in the end of the year, we will be release the map biomass alerta. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. The slide is showing the 2 of our initiative. The first one is annual land use land cover. With this platform, you can have an access for annual land cover, and then you public can have an access for the trajectory or the transition for every year, and select the pairing of the year before and after to looking how the things change, like from natural things to anthropogenic things, like from pit swamp forest or for mangrove to oil palm or etc. etc. And then we have annual fire to looking how the size of annual burn scar. We have right now we have from 2013 to 2023, and we can update in this year to add more year. And it is the alerta. Biomass alerta is talk about how every single alert are validated and refined, and we report to public in this platform. You can see the panel of the filter divided by, you can filter from territory types, driver types, size types, and so on. And the platform showing the map for every single occurrence of deforestation validated, and we have a statistic to public to download the data. And yeah, every single alert, we have a list to made public accessible, and download the data, download the report, and also download the polygon of the data with the several information, and we have the aggregating of the large or rank of the provincial level or the island level, and yeah, sorry. This, for example, a single alert deforestation report by my Biomass Alerta. We validated, refined the alert, and then a report for every single data. And how the things work, and the first step, MAP Biomass Alerta is validating and refining system for deforestation alert based on high resolution satellite image. And second, on one platform, we bring together alert from multiple deforestation detection system across Indonesia, and each alert is cross-checked with key territorial data such as administrative boundaries, forest estate, concession, protected areas, etc., and we report by detail and ready-to-use report for each deforestation event, freely and openly accessible to everyone. And then the Biomass Alerta initiative publish any and all losses natural of forest without assessing the legality, regularity, or responsibility for the suppression of the vegetation. And with this platform, every week you will find new deforestation alert validated for all Indonesia territory with several filter options for temporal and territorial analysis. And by selecting one alert, you can view high-res image of before and after the deforestation occurred, and then access the full report for each territory that overlap deforestation alert. And this one, how the things work by methodology, technically things. The first step, we compile all of alert from at the beginning. We just using the GLAD from University of Maryland, and then we validate the alert, every single alert, to select the best image with high resolution imagery, and select the before after, and then we validate it to take out the false positive and keep the true positive, and then we cross with the all territory, and then we audit all the things to make sure the quality and publish to public. That's the short methodology. And yeah, how rational for combating deforestation? First one, all detected deforestation will be made publicly available with this platform, and illegal deforestation case with identified or penalized responsible parties will report for each alert, enable to identification of responsible parties, enforce the agencies to take action, and the last things about the prevent incentive for illegal deforestation, like block public and private financing for those involved in illegal deforestation, restrict market access for product originating from illegal deforestation areas, and suspend land registration, etc., based on the country's regulation. So a relationship with partner, as I mentioned in previous and before, Alerta was created to produce information about deforestation alert with certainty and agility to facilitate the work of combating illegal activities, efficiency, and transparency. So in this relationship, from source of alert, use with the user or adopters to make mainstream regarding law enforcement, differential law enforcement agencies using the data, report and cite product for scale-up remote law enforcement and conservation planning. And regarding the finance, like rural credit analysis, insurance, and strategic planning to block finance flow. And then regarding the market, widely used by commodities buyer and trader to raise the bar of sustainable production standard for the assessing market. And the last of the things regarding advocacy and public awareness, like NGO, press, and general public using the data report and cite the product for advocacy, raising awareness about the loss of natural forest. And the last, we provide, BIMAS Harta provide detailed data on deforestation, capacity building for using the data and improvement the platform when necessary. And BIMAS do not take part on advocacy things or advocacy action because we try to we try to have constant processing, update weekly with new alert, use on a daily basis for decision making, and then require constant attention, and legal security databases management is crucial. Sorry. Yeah, that's all for us. Thank you very much. Thank you for attention.
Thank you, Pak Dedi, for explaining to us the MAP Biomas Indonesia. For the last speaker from this first session, we will have Mr. Ederson Cabrera Montenegro from IDM Colombia, who will talk about the alert use cases in Colombia. Mr. Ederson, floor is yours.
Okay, good afternoon to everyone. My name is Ederson Cabrera. I'm from Colombia, South America. I am forester, and for the last 25 years, we encourage the generation of information about what happened with the forest at the country in Colombia. Next slide, please. Okay, good, thanks. Okay, this is the basic structure of the forest monitoring in Colombia. The system was established since 2012, 13 years ago, and we structure a system that generates the world information that the country needs to understand what happened with the dynamics of the forest in Colombia. So the different components of the system is related with the main focus on the generation process about the forest. The first one is the generation of the official numbers for the country, what happened with the forest cover and the deforestation. It's an annual-based analysis. The second is related with this talk, is the early warning detections, that is more related with the actions on the field to stop and to control deforestation. But also we identify the direct drivers of deforestation, generates information related with the degradation and the restoration processes at Colombia. And also we include community-based participative monitoring, identifying the different processes that the communities do to understand also the dynamics of the forest. Okay. So with that in mind, we structure a system based on our own capacities, related, for example, with the support of GFOI technical groups. And we structure change process with 8 different algorithms that we generate using Python language to not depend on the commercial softwares. So these 8 algorithms, since the download of images to structure a preprocessing stage until the processing and analysis algorithms. All of these algorithms is available for the GitHub suite and is available for any users. For example, to generate the alerts, we structure 2 different algorithms that is named PCA4CD. It's basically a change detection algorithm that uses canonical components. And also the identifier of the alerts of deforestation is the ATD algorithm. With that in mind, we structured 5 different reports with different frequency at the calendar to generate information. Our principal report is the annual one. We have generated at this moment 13 annual official reports related with the monitoring of the forest cover in Colombia. The second one is the principal report related with the early warning, that is the quarterly bulletins. We generate 4 every year, for which one for each quarterly reporting in Colombia. And with this type of bulletins, we identify the mainly hotspots of alerts related with deforestation at Colombia, identifying the critical areas to take actions to stop deforestation. Also, we generate for control purposes monthly reports related with what happened in everywhere area in Colombia using high resolution images, mainly planet, to identify what happened detailed with the deforestation process in Colombia. Also, mainly related with the hotspots of deforestation, we generate weekly reports, some related with the cases here at Indonesia. Every year we generate 52 weekly reports to identify what happened with the conservation of the forest. And also, mainly for the dry season, we generate daily reports that identify what is the hotspots of fires in Colombia related with the forest. That is the principal use of our quarterly reports, the identification of the principal hotspots of deforestation. That is, for example, the 2 bulletins generated for this year, for the first quarter and the second quarter. The first one is more related with the dry season, between January to March. And the second is more related with the rainy season, that is from April to June. This is the principal active deforestation hotspots in Colombia, mainly related with the Amazon region. As you can see in the bottom right of the map, for the first quarter of this year, we identify 18 early hotspots of deforestation for the whole country, mainly related with the Amazon region. Also, these quarterly reports includes estimation monthly by monthly, the deforestation related with all of the departments that are part of the Amazon region in Colombia. That is very important because the regional environmental authorities use this information to identify and prioritize actions to control deforestation in the main hotspots of deforestation. That is, for example, the reports for the Colombian Amazon. And for example, with all of this information, we can to identify the tendency of the deforestation for the last for the last quarters in Colombia. For example, that is the cumulative deforestation identified for the first semester in the Colombian Amazon, and we can to identify the tendency of the recent deforestation. For example, for the main department of the states in Colombia, we can to identify that the principal active hotspots of deforestation in this year have a tendency to reduction. For example, in Meta, Guaviare, Caquetá, that is the departments in Colombia, and with that in mind, we can to structure actions to control deforestation or actions to promote the sustainable development of this area, also with the support of the communities. That is a very brief explanation about how works our early warning component in Colombia. Thanks.
Thank you, Ederson. I'm just gonna sit down since we have a Q&A session, but since the time is limited, I'm going to ask just one question, but to all the panelists. So you have mentioned all of the use cases using the near real-time deforestation alerts. My question is, what are the key challenges from using this near real-time deforestation in your country, in your day-to-day work? Maybe, do you want to start?
Yes. Yes, I think that the principal challenge in Colombia is to extend the capacity for the institutions and for the community to use the alerts. Because if the people at the local level or the regional level don't understand well how to use the information, maybe it's complicated to identify actions to reduce deforestation in those levels. So we invest a lot of time of our processes to increase the capacity of the local institutions, but also the communities, to use the information and to implement that information to support conservation of the forest, but also to control deforestation at the local level.
Thank you, Anderson. Dedi, do you want to continue?
Yeah, Indonesian challenge or
Challenges, yes.
Oh, yeah, yeah. The most important things for address deforestation is how the quality of the validated action to make some evidence based in Indonesia is regarding the law enforcement. We don't not have yet like how evidence based from a remote sensing things to use in the law enforcement. I think we try to approach this thing like using the evidence for high imagery detected and used to make it for evidence. I think this one important things for Indonesian regulars here for the deforestation.
Yeah. Okay, for me, reflecting on our experience in implementing the near real-time deforestation alerts in these past several years and in several pilot districts in Indonesia, I think the fragmented efforts has been the biggest challenge, which we see that actually every stakeholders have the same target or goals to reduce deforestation, but they are working in silos, so they are not talking with each other, not coordinating with each other. And also, I want to see more coordination with the law enforcers in the next few years, because the monitoring basically in several districts already pretty advanced, but the bottleneck is how to encourage the law enforcement actions more quickly.
Okay, thank you so much, Ederson, Benita, and Pak Dedi. I just want to note it that the the speakers here have talked us through on the use cases of near real-time deforestation in their countries, but also they noted challenges on capacity and identifying actions in reducing deforestation, but also how to move forward with law enforcement and also fragmented effort from various key stakeholders. So those are the challenges that we noted. Thank you so much for your time. Let's give a big round of applause for the speakers in session 1. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you, Pak Dedi, Ederson, and Benita. You may return to your seat. I want to, okay, sorry, the Benita foto. Oh, masih ada sesi. Thank you so much. Please don't go anywhere. We have second session. I'm just gonna quickly start the second session. Pak Ederson, can you stay in your seat? You will be the respondent, discussant.
Okay.
Sorry. So the second session, we will talk about the the advances or technology advancement on forest monitoring. We will be joined by speakers that will talk about the introduction of new data sets, including analytical tools and predictive approaches. The speakers will have 7 minutes since we have quite a tight timeline. 7 minutes presentation, and we will continue with a short reflection from experts, which conclude the session to capture key takeaways and identify future directions for alert system and research collaboration. I wanted to also invite Ibu Husnayan. Is Ibu Husna here? Okay. Please take your seat, Ibu, in the front. Thank you. I also wanted to inform you that we will have a speaker that will speak in Bahasa Indonesia. So if you wanted to grab the interpreting device on the back, please do so. And then I wanted to start the session inviting Bart Slachter, which is joining us online. Is Bart here? Okay. Bart is from Wageningen University, who is joining us online, and we'll talk about near real-time drivers of deforestation. Bart, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon. Thanks. I hope you can all hear me. I'll quickly share my screen.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Great, great. I hope you see my slides right now. So yeah, good afternoon. I'm happy with the opportunity to present remote today. My name is Bart Slachter. I'm a researcher at Wageningen University. And today I will be presenting about near real-time driver attributions to deforestation alerts. And this is a work in a collaboration of Wageningen University and World Resource Institute. So this work can be somewhat seen as an extension to existing deforestation alerts. In this case, we were working with integrated deforestation alerts that were based on RAD and GLAD systems. So this is an integrated deforestation alert based on Sentinel-1, Sentinel-2, and Landsat imagery combined that gives us the quickest signal of deforestation, basically. And it's important to note that these deforestation alerts, they are called deforestation alerts, but they show generic forest disturbance, which can be either human-induced or natural, or it can relate to permanent or temporary tree cover loss. And that brings us to an important limitation of currently operational deforestation alerts. I mean, we've seen also in the previous presentations that the information is very valuable, but what it does not show is a thematic detail about what the types or drivers of these alerts actually are. And as you can see in this example from the integrated alerts, there can be various drivers which can be human-induced or natural, for example. And not having this information also in a timely way means that the alerts have a limitation in their use to combat illegal or unsustainable forest activities. So during the last years, we've been working on methods that can automatically attribute the direct drivers to deforestation alerts. And we've been focusing on the use of deep learning techniques for this. So this is a very quick overview of the methods that we have been working on. I will not go into detail, but basically what such a model can do, it takes the latest detected deforestation alerts, in this case from the integrated RAD-GLAD alerts, and it takes the most recently available post-disturbance Sentinel-1 and Sentinel-2 images, and based on the interpretation of, for example, the shapes, the sizes, but also what can be seen in the imagery, this deep learning model can make a prediction with a certain probability that shows us what is the direct driver of that specific alert. And here on the right side, you see that we are distinguishing in this model 8 classes. And what is important to note here is that we consider one class for agriculture. So the model maps a lot of agriculture here, but this is a class that we later on also disaggregate based on the, for example, based on the size. So we've been running this model in practice throughout the Pantropics. We've taken as a demonstration, we've taken the integrated RAD-GLAD alerts from 2022 until 2024. And we've simulated here a near real-time scenario where these alerts have been detected and subsequently attributed with a direct driver. And in practice, this means that each alert detection receives a driver classification within 1 month after the detection. But also these detections or these classifications of the drivers, they can be updated. So within up to 3 months after the detection, if a better confidence is reached by the model to make classifications, the driver classification can also be updated. So there is a kind of a near real time classification, but it can also later on within 3 months be updated with more confidence. And yeah, what is also nice about this classification is that it is also based on a 10-meter scale product, because the satellites that are used have a 10-meter resolution, which also shows us some distinctions of fine scale disturbances, such as those related to selective logging. And here we see what that looks like when we zoom out and we look at the 3 big tropical forests. We can nicely see the various drivers that are there and attributed to the deforestation alerts in these 3 years. It's important to note here, of course, this is all based on a deep learning model. So this is a classification that is automated. And that means that there are certain class confusions always. So we have done a accuracy assessment. You can see a few statistics here on the left that tell us how accurate these driver attributions are. And also, since a few days, this data is now available on Global Forest Watch from the World Resource Institute. And here you can see that product that we have made for these 3 years, where the alerts had been attributed in a near real-time way. What you can see here also, that was not visible in the previous slides, that the agriculture-related classes, first of all, they are disaggregated based on size to distinguish small-scale and large-scale agriculture, but also here they are integrated with active fire alerts. to indicate whether fire was used for the agricultural clearing or not. Because of the way the fire alerts work, this is a bit of a conservative estimate, but it gives us an indication of the use of fire. And as you can see here, the data is running for these 3 years, and the expectation is now that this will also run starting in 2026 with monthly updates in a near real-time way. So for now, it is a static product still to explore the past alerts, but in the future, we will bring a monthly updates. And below, you can see that there is also a user feedback form. So if you're looking at this data and you're exploring it, maybe if you want to leave some feedback, that is, of course, very, very welcome. A few days ago, we also wrote a blog, which you can find on the website of Global Forest Watch. So if you want to read a little bit more about this data product, you can check that out on the website of Global Forest Watch and the World Resource Institute. Yeah, thanks a lot for your attention, and also thanks a lot to everyone who contributed to this project from Wageningen and the World Resource Institute. Thanks.
Thank you, Bart, that have guided us through the new data sets on drivers of deforestation. Before we move to the next presenter, which is joining us online, I wanted to call Dr. Christophe Sanier from WWF. Could you join us to the stage? Thank you. And okay, the next presenter is Sarah Carter from Global Forest Watch, the World Resources Institute. She's joining us online, and we'll talk about Global Nature Watch. Sarah, the floor is yours.
Hi, thanks everyone. I'm just going to share my screen. So please let me know if you can see my slides.
Not yet. Okay, now we can see your slide.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you very much for the introduction. I'm a research associate for Global Forest Watch. I'm based in Europe, and very sorry that I can't be there in person today. So I'm going to present to you Global Nature Watch. This is a new initiative from World Resources Institute, launched just 1 month ago. And it's an AI-powered platform, allowing users a new opportunity, a new way to engage with several data sets, including one deforestation alert product, the DIST alerts, which is a University of Maryland and NASA product. So many of you are familiar with Global Forest Watch, has been mentioned a number of times. This allows people to interact with data in more or less a traditional way. You can read reports, you can read blogs, you can access data in a visual platform. You can derive specific statistics by doing things like uploading polygons. You can choose a specific time of interest by moving time sliders on graphs and so on. But what Global Nature Watch is, it's an AI-powered system, and it works to allow users to pose plain language questions, so much as you would if you're interacting with ChatGPT and those kind of tools which people are more and more using nowadays. So it allows people with really zero geospatial skills to still be able to gather some insights from data, and not just data, but also to derive insights from a number of reports which are available through Global Forest Watch and many of our partners from around the world. So it is based on the same data and insights as you might find on things like Global Forest Watch, but it's just a different way of interacting with the data and gathering information. So this is more or less how it works. As you see in the top right-hand corner, you can pose a question, such as, where are the most disturbances to nature happening now? And then the AI agents process the intent and use the quality data and information from many research partners from around the world, and The agents then process this, review the documentation, provide summaries. This can be text, it can be statistics, it can be charts, it can be maps. And this is then provided to the user. What's interesting is that a user can interact with it in up to 170 languages. So this really builds some capacity beyond Global Forest Watch, which at most is generally available in up to 5 languages. So this is another way of allowing not just non-technical users, but also users who are more comfortable in other languages to interact with the data. What I will just mention is this is available in a closed beta. What does that mean? It's basically a test version. So if you're interested to use it, you can go on globalnaturewatch.org, you can register and apply to be a tester, which means that you would test it and provide feedback into how it's working. So this is the kind of platform which you get when you open Global Nature Watch. And in this case, I asked it a question: show me recent deforestation past 6 months in Bali. And what happens is, in this case, it's identified Bali as being the correct area. It will check with the user that it's identified the correct location. There are a number of admin units with the word Bali in, so it will ask you to confirm that it's identified the right area. What it will do is it will also try and identify which data you're interested in. And actually, initially, it came up with our annual tree cover loss information, and it told me, well, we don't have information on in the last 6 months, but this is good data if you're interested in a longer time period. So it asks me to confirm, am I really interested in that 6 month time period? As you see in the slide previous, it then, I confirmed, yes, I'm interested in a different data set that might give more recent deforestation alerts, and it did identify then the DIST alerts. Then what it can do is it can provide these graphs. There aren't many alerts in Bali, which is, I guess, great news, but it can provide graphs and some charts, and it can also summarize the data and provide these text outputs. One kind of limitation to that is that this is generative AI. So as we know, AI can hallucinate, it can come up with information that's incorrect, it can maybe use data in a way, in a context that's not really appropriate for the data. So what we do notice that although the data are provided to it, and it will only interact with the data in specific limited ways. And in this case, we've told it if people, for example, are interested in near real-time information, then it'll be the DIST alerts which they can interact with. So it can't just pull any data set that's maybe not of good enough quality from the web, but it does use specific data set. But the text insights that it provides must be checked like any other AI kind of result. But I think more and more people are used to interacting with the AI and used to kind of checking the results and using this as a basis for starting some research, gathering a good baseline, understanding the context of the problem. So as I mentioned, you can check out the website. We have some office hours and webinars to explain the data using Global Nature Watch, other data sets like the drivers, which Bart just presented. So do stay tuned for that. And then I've just got a very quick video, if this works, of another maybe more challenging or more complex question which was asked. In Indonesia, how's forest loss changed during the years when palm oil prices were high compared to the years they were low? And this is what happens. So the question is posed in the chat box. The agents are interacting with the question to understand the location, which is correctly identified. It's identified tree cover loss as this longer term data set that can be used to provide trends during the specific period which was mentioned. And in this case, it's shown the data on the map, but also produced some charts. Then it's provided some text which link the data set to the question. So you can understand a bit more about this link between the price of palm oil and the tree cover loss information. And then you can also refine the question. So it's confirming one of the choices which the agents had proposed as a way to dive deeper into this. And we've looked at other major palm oil producers. And here it starts with Malaysia, but it also suggests why not look at Thailand and Colombia, and then provides some kind of comparisons that zooms into the data so that this gives maybe a better global context to the question as well. So we're very pleased to present this new tool. We're hoping that it will go live for a broader use in the coming months. But for now, as I mentioned, if you're interested, either get in touch with one of us from WRI directly, or you can register on the website. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sarah, for guiding us through the Global Nature Watch, exciting platform. And then the third speaker, Dr. Christophe Sanier from GFAG, will talk about SAR-based tree cover disturbance monitoring. Please.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. So I'll talk on behalf of my colleagues. Andreas Langner couldn't be here, so about a new tool that we've developed at GAF. So GAF is a German-based company in Munich, and the idea of this tool is to provide sort of near real-time. Yeah, press hard. No. Oh, so near real-time tree cover disturbance monitoring tool, which is should be available online and is effectively producing deforestation alerts or looking at tree cover disturbance from 2018 onwards. So you've got here an example of the expansion of agricultural fields in an area in Laos. And what is important about this tool? I mean, it's similar to other tree cover disturbance tools. It's using Sentinel-1 radar data as an input, and it's based on an iterative two-level change detection approach, which is a little bit different to some of the other tools that we've seen, and is fully unsupervised and automated, and can be deployed relatively easily. As I say, it's currently being implemented using the OpenEO architecture, which is a totally open source language, and it's making use of the Sentinel-1 radar data, and the spatial resolution is at 10 meter, and with a minimum mapping unit of 0.05 hectare, just to minimize some of the noise. So the current temporal resolution, which is actually limited to the data availability, is every 2 weeks. So you will get every 2 weeks a new alert. However, to reduce the amount of noise and making sure that the alerts are confirmed, you have like a 1.5 month time lag to the near real time. So the system was validated worldwide, and with focusing on different types of biomes. It actually works on the tropical humid, but also tropical dry, as well as the temperate forest ecosystem. And like I mentioned just before, the temporal coverage is from 2018 to now. Okay, just to look at it, like I said, there's different approaches. We've seen some of them earlier, and it's just a quick comparison there for the same area, looking at the two other systems with the RAD alerts from Wageningen University and the Lookout data from the C-Trees platform. And one of the things, I mean, these systems will provide different results, but they look relatively similar. And what we have in this case is with the TCDM approach is maybe a slightly increased level of detail, where we seem to be picking up if we see in this area in the south, sorry, I'm not very good with this one, it seems. In the south of the area, we seem to be picking up quite a bit more detail, and particularly some of the selective logging in this forest concession area in Gabon. So if we look, another example here, it's in Brazil with a sort of an evergreen biome. So here the deforestation or tree cover disturbance rather driver is a bit different. It's more linked to some potential illegal alluvial mining. Illegal, I don't know, but at least some mining activity over the rivers, and you can see some of that in the high resolution Google Earth image, and for each color corresponds to the actual date when the forest disturbance has occurred. And again, you can see the sequence of this happening throughout the time series. Another example, which I was showing at the first slide in Laos, is this sort of agricultural expansion, where you can see quite strikingly, the different sort of the expansion of the actual agricultural activities over the whole area. And just to show some final example here in Mozambique. So in this case, is in a more kind of a dry forest ecosystem. You see that the system also works quite well in that biome. You've got here an example, before some of the deforestation occurs. Again, this is related to agricultural expansion, and you see that sort of a more recent image, and you see how the system has picked up the expansions again with the same sort of color scheme, so the corresponding to the date when the event has occurred. Yeah, and some of the finer detail here. So it's picking up, quite well the actual different field being cropped. So just to say a few summary and what are the next steps for this. So it's like I mentioned at the beginning, it's totally unsupervised and fully automated. And it's important to say that you can reduce the lag time, but it will increase the level of uncertainty or noise in the data. And it was successfully implemented over quite a range of different biomes, and it was validated and the validation of the disturbance detection had an overall accuracy above 85%, with a user producer accuracy around 80 to 90%. And we can actually, there will be a talk tomorrow looking at the commodity, and it's actually quite relevant to the new EU deforestation-free supply chain regulation, and by picking up, the post-2020 deforestation events. And with that, I'll thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Dr. Christoph. The last one is Jorn Dallinga from WWF, which will talk about forest foresight, prediction on illegal deforestation. Jorn, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Let me share my slides.
Yes, you can see your slide.
Perfect. Welcome, everyone. Glad to be here. My name is Jorn Dallinga. I'm working at the Worldwide Fund for Nature in the Netherlands, and I'm here to present a bit on the progress and the next steps around a predictive model, a predictive deforestation model called Forest Foresight. And in practice, just plainly looking at an optical view, it more or less looks like this, right? So a left image is of a let's say, a current view of a location somewhere, in this case on central Kalimantan, but it could be anywhere. And 6 months later, the image would optically look like that on the right side of your screen. And our predictions on the left side give an estimate of at the location, stating, we're going to expect forest loss at that location. And then on the right side, you see the actual deforestation or forest loss that occurred 6 months later. And that in practice, from a visual point of view, is what we try to do with Forest Foresight, is to illustrate where do we expect future forest loss to happen, with the idea that we can be preventative or act before most deforestation or forest loss has occurred that we either did not intend to have, or, for example, would be considered illegal, depending on laws and regulations, to try and avoid damages to these forests. Forest Foresight has been running for some time in a few countries, so we collaborate with also with the University of Wageningen, for example, but also with stakeholders in landscapes, such as governmental agencies. So, for example, in South America, we're working with a few governmental agencies in Colombia, Peru, Bolivia, but also Central Africa with Gabon, and in Southeast Asia with different actors in Indonesia, as well as Laos. What is Forest Foresight in a nutshell? So it's a predictive model that at the top, starting at step 1, uses the integrated glad alert from Global Forest Watch as an input data set that helps to label or see how forest cover changes or the forest losses occurring in near real time. It combines that at step 2 with a lot of open and public data sets, such as socio-economic data sets, topological data sets, and other satellite and land cover data, which can be divided in dynamic and static indicators on the top right. So dynamic indicators are data sets that change frequently over time, such as night light and forest fires, or road networks, for example. And static indicators like population or elevation data sets that don't typically change too much over time. These are then put together in step 3 in a predictive model that then learns from historic data sets accompanied with all these static and dynamic indicators, how deforestation or forest loss is occurring in a given context or a given landscape, to try and learn and then predict where at step 4 that high risk of forest loss is going to occur. That's in practice how Foresight operates. This is in practice how it would look like if you would use it or integrate it in your dashboard, for example. So on the left side of the screen, the risk map is a product that illustrates at hot zone level, which is about 400 by 400 meter, with a given color certainty, from red being high risk to yellow being medium risk-ish, how or where forest loss is going to happen within a 6-month time frame. Right, so you can see at a 400 meter by 400 meter resolution with a certain certainty that forest loss is going to occur in those given locations within 6 months. You could play around within the solution how you wish to visualize. So another option is bottom right, for example, where you have a bit more of a polygon looking map that also indicates a certain level of certainty where forest loss is going to happen in space and time. What are a few sort of elements that are interesting about Forest Foresight? So there are quite a few pros in terms of it being a simple code, a relatively simple code. It's an open source product, so you can find it online, and I'll share a link later on. You can play around with it yourself. In essence, it's quite fast processing. It's data agnostic, so you can have your own input data sets around future or around forest loss being the core data set that drives the predictive model. It's a code that you can also hand over to key stakeholders. It has relatively high accuracy and predictive performance. It's also easy to further develop on. So if you wish to add new data sets or add local data sets, that's all possible. It's not cloud dependent. It's relatively cheap to maintain and also easy to scale. Just a few considerations to mention. Our open access product doesn't include any local data sets. And if you would truly try and improve the predictive model, a good local collaboration is often needed. We've explored quite a numerous amount of predictive models or machine learning models, and for now the best performer still sits at the assembled trees or the random forest group, which is the extreme gradient boosting. But we're also working with the University of Wageningen to see how neural networks is going to or could improve the predictive model in the near future. And some of the lessons learned and some of the next steps, we also see that a baseline product simply stating if deforestation would happen close to or next to recent deforestation, and then state we expect new deforestation to happen here, is a surprisingly good baseline product. So we try to compare against this effective baseline to see if a machine learning model could improve based or against that baseline product. And our key challenge is to develop models that truly provide additional added value for stakeholders to improve efforts against future deforestation, to try and prevent deforestation. Some of the next steps, so we hope, just to name a few on this slide, is that implementing a neural network, for example, will be, we are expecting to add additional percentages of predictive performance, but also on the bottom left, working on different time scales, right? So could be from a 6-month window, also have a 3-month window or a 1-year window, where future deforestation is going to happen. We're also looking at new predictive features. So for example, the presentation by Bart around deforestation labeled drivers will be an interesting data set to consider. But also working with stakeholders in given countries to see how local data sets and improving data quality, we think could be an important aspect to improve the predictive performance. Local data sets could consider of data sets available by governmental agencies or communities around concession data or better road network data sets that could be available that could improve the predictive model. So those are some of our next steps that we hope to achieve. If you're keenly interested, please let us know or contact us, and we're happy to share more information. Thank you.
Thank you, Jorn. So thank you so much for the speakers, but we just have a few things. We are joined here by our 2 discussants experts, Mr. Ederson and Ibu Husnayen. And I wanted to ask your thoughts from the technological advancement that have been shared by the panelists and speakers, how this could help with forest monitoring and also relevant to your work. Maybe Ibu Husna, you might want to start first? Yeah.
Terima kasih sebelumnya, izinkan speak in bahasa. Terima kasih atas kesempatannya. Biasanya saya bekerja di balik meja untuk menganalisis data satelit, tapi di sini saya punya kesempatan diundang oleh WRI untuk sharing lah terkait pengalaman penggunaan dari biasanya saya bekerja itu kami memanfaatkan data GLAD alert dan red alert. Tapi menurut saya itu masing-masing itu punya kelebihan dan kekurangan. Jadi kami juga mengembangkan sistem untuk monitoring deforestation, tapi metode kami itu kami mengintegrasikan data GLAD alert dan red. Jadi sistem radar dan optis itu kami integrasikan. Karena dari pengalaman saya untuk menganalisis hasil dari data GLAD dan atau red itu dia masing-masing itu ada kelebihan atau kekurangannya. Jadi terkadang ada area-area yang tidak tercover oleh GLAD dan juga sebaliknya. Jadi di sistem kami itu kami mengintegrasikan keduanya sehingga mendapatkan informasi yang lebih akurat seperti itu. Eh, di sini saya mungkin tidak mengomentari semuanya karena ada banyak hal yang baru juga buat saya, misalnya terkait dengan deforestation dengan sistem AI itu baru buat saya, tapi saya tertarik. Tapi saya tertarik dengan RH use case yang Mbak Benita ini apa namanya sampaikan tadi untuk menentukan apa namanya peringkat prioritas pendeteksian deforestasi. Jadi itu kan ada beberapa komponen yang digunakan, tapi saya menyarankan untuk menggunakan untuk mempertimbangkan historical dari illegal logging itu sendiri. Karena seperti kita ketahui, jika biasanya illegal logging itu kan terkait dengan misalnya ada pembukaan jalan baru, itu pasti diiringin dengan ilegal secara masif. Misalnya seperti di Papua itu perkembangan jalan baru itu sangat tinggi gitu. Nah itu diiringi oleh, biasanya kalau ada pembukaan jalan baru itu pasti diiringi oleh illegal logging secara masif. Nah sepertinya perlu dipertimbangkan untuk historical dari kejadian dari illegal logging itu sendiri gitu. Jadi bisa dimasukkan dalam skala prioritas terkait historical illegal logging. Mungkin itu saja mungkin ya.
Iya. Terima kasih Bu Husna.
Terima kasih.
Thank you so much. Sorry we'll be behind time a little bit, but hope you can stay for maybe a few more minutes. Mr. Ederson, go ahead.
Thanks, and thanks you, Nayan, for your comments. I think it's very helpful. And I just to remark the importance of the data. All of the four presentation presents the power of information in a real or near real time. But also, it's also remarks the important the use of this information, because we can to generate information every year, every month, every week, every day, every minute. But if that information is not used to take real actions, maybe it's just a process to generate information, but not to implement for the real actions in the field. So I think that components like the early warning needs to use to take actions to stop deforestation or to promote the conservation of the areas, but also to understand what is the dynamics of the process, in this case of the deforestation, to maybe prioritize new developments of law or I don't know, processes that can to achieve the goals to stop deforestation. I think that is the more important point related with the process to generate information. Also, I think that is very important to identify the power of the monitoring of the drivers. For example, in the case of Colombia, the three principal direct drivers for deforestation is the road expansion, because the accessibility is a very key issue related with the forest loss process. And with that in mind, we identify the necessity to implement new law developments to control the road expansion, for example, in some remote areas, because that is one of the direct drivers. The second one is the relationship between the deforestation and the increase of the coast inventories, because in the main municipalities with highest rates of deforestation, also the increase of the cattle ranching is need to control. So with the use of the alerts, we can to identify how to prevent new deforestations by understanding the relationship with the drivers. I think that is very important key issues.
Thank you, Ibu Husna and Pak Ederson. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. Since the time is already over, 5 p.m., I'm going to wrap up. Thank you so much. Let's give a warm clap for the speakers and the discussants. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good afternoon. Thank you for attending this session and staying up until the end of the session. Thank you so much. Selamat sore, good afternoon. Terima kasih.